Hello and welcome to this new series. Basically, in this series, I'm going to be taking different albums that I've listened to and ranking all the songs from worst to best. If you have album ideas that you want me to rank all the songs of, as long as I've listened to them in the past, which you can tell if you check out my album of the year account, I rank all the albums that I've listened to front to back. If you see an album there and you're like, I really want to know what Quirkay thinks of each of the tracks, then feel free to comment it on any of these videos and I will try to get to it. So I decided to start with an album that my audience is pretty familiar with. The people in my Discord love this album. I'm starting with Wallsocket by Underscores, and I decided that there was a deluxe that just came out, and why not rank the new songs as well? There's a fan of the channel named SAST Simon, I think their name is, and that person has wanted me to rank more Underscore songs ever since my ranking every Underscore song video. So this one's for you, Simon. Yeah, I think that's all I have to cover before we get to the rankings. So let's see what I think of every song from Wallsocket by Underscores. Today is the last day of... I really hate to start this series, not only this video, but this series with such, a hot take. But at the same time, I have to be honest, okay? I can't sugarcoat anything. I do not really like this song, and it's one of the few Underscore songs that I just don't really enjoy. I absolutely respect the lyrical content and the concept, how it fits into the album track list, but I don't really enjoy listening to the song in the album context or outside of it, just in a shuffle context. The vocal performances really start to grate. It's hard for me to listen to the song more than once, and the instrumental, along with that kind of sample flip in the background, it adds this kind of monotonous feeling that, again, makes it really hard to replay, which compared to all the other songs on this album, I'd much rather replay all of those. So as a result, as much as I respect what Underscores was going for, and I understand that a lot of people have this as their favorite Wallsocket song, I have to put it at the bottom for the reasons I listed. You won't get away with this. You won't get away with this. All right, at number 15, we have Horror Movie Soundtrack, and I enjoy the chord progression a lot. I think the creepy vibe and aesthetic this song is going for is nailed extremely well. And I also think where it's placed within the track list feels pretty good. It doesn't drag the pacing or cause any issues there. But at the same time, how often am I listening to this one in full outside of the album context? Not very often. I think it's expertly placed. I think the writing is pretty good. And again, the creepy atmosphere and aesthetic of it is great. But I'm not throwing this one in a playlist and really enjoying it every single time I listen to it. All right, at 14, we have CCTV, and I admit that it's possible this song is this low because I haven't had as much time with it. It is an 8-minute song compared to a lot of, the 3 other deluxe tracks we got are a lot shorter, so they're much more palatable for me. But at the same time, I feel like it might still place around here. So I'm placing it at 14 just because I think there are some incredible heights on this song. Just sonically, it's so big and loud and crazy. But at the same time, it's 8 minutes and you're not getting the loud and flashy all 8 minutes. Okay, there's peaks and valleys in the production, and at points it feels like it kind of drags a little bit, especially near the end of the track. I think this song kind of reminded me of Jane Remover's Census Designated album if it had, more electronic production, which I honestly really like and I think was done really well. If this song was a little more consistent, or it's still possible it'll just grow on me, then it's possible this one will go way up. Good At 13, we have Good Luck Final Girl, which is the closing track on the original Wallsocket release. I don't mind it. I think it's solid and does what it needs to. It kind of feels similar to the Fish song off of Fishmonger. It's more of a laid back ballad songwriting focused track. And that last verse, in terms of its writing, is very deadly and it'll hit your heartstrings. But the rest of it, I don't think carries that same emotional significance that the Fish song does. As a result, you know, I'm not replaying this one a lot. Sometimes I'll revisit that, you know, that final verse, but the entire song, it's kind of just, it's a slightly more fun and lighthearted Fish song, which I love the Fish song, so I'll just listen to that one. But I do think it works well in the album context. I threw it at 13. So at 12, we have 77 Dog Years, and honestly, I have nothing against this song. I think it's really good. In the album context, it's great. In a shuffle context, it's great. I really like it. It's just, I think a lot of the other songs on this album are so phenomenal and memorable that this one just kind of falls down the list for me. There are some adorable, wonderful, catchy vocal melodies, and there's also obviously some stellar lyrics, but at the same time, this one's not hitting as hard for me as a lot of those other much more memorable songs. So it's great, but it's not peak. If you know, so I can speak to the younger generation. That's how I describe this song. So I'm gonna throw it at 12. At number 11, we have Northwest Zombie Girl. This is one of the new tracks from the deluxe, and it's an absolute blast to listen to. It's really consistent and dynamic. It goes all over the place. There's different basses that it touches in terms of sound, and all of them are nailed really well and still feel cohesive. It still feels like one song. My favorite part of the song in particular is the "It's not that hard. Like, that will get stuck in your head all day. You know, this thing hasn't even been out that long, but it gets caught in my head all the time whenever I hear that part. I do think with the lyrical content being a little more shallow than a lot of the other tracks, it kind of falls down to this placement. But if we're ranking these based on how fun they are to listen to and how hype they are, this is an easy top 5. At 10, we have Shoot to Kill, Kill Your Darlings. And this one, I enjoyed it on first listen. You can tell from the reaction video I did, but man, this one grew on me so much. It's unreal levels of catchy, like that. Just the chorus is so fun. April's storytelling on this thing is phenomenal. At its core, it's a simple song. You have the verse, the chorus, verse, chorus type structure, but there's different characters that are touched with the lyrical content in each verse, and it keeps the song feeling fresh. The vocal performances and the hook change, so it feels a little more dynamic than if it was just the same chorus, you know, copy pasted. The pacing near the end of the track, you know, usually in a shuffle context, I'm skipping near the very end, but the first half of the song and really the first like 3/4 of the song are incredible, might be perfect. So I have this one at 10. So Geez Louise, I have at number 9, and I love how sporadic this song is. Some portions of it are beautiful, some are chaotic, but they're all amazing. Henhouse was a great choice of feature for the song. They added a lot lyrically, and I mean, lyrically, this song is really powerful. Kind of reminds me of some of the tracks off Glass Beach's first album, which is one of my favorites. So I have to give them credit here. It's a long track done right. Where CCTV, I think, has a couple pacing issues, this song does not feel as long as it is. And if you're a new listener, you might, and maybe you just want those chaotic elements, you kind of get bored of the more slow and beautiful segments, you won't have to wait long because this song, it goes all over the place. It's super sporadic, like I said. Jeez Louise is great. So number 8, we have Duh. And I know, okay, don't even come at me in the comment section. I know I have this one a lot higher than a lot of other people. A lot of people I've seen do lists, like they rank this one much lower, but I don't care. Okay, I absolutely adore this song. I think the vocal performances from Underscores, some of the best in her entire discography. A lot of the performances give me goosebumps. Like they're insane. So I have to give it credit for that. I do think, okay, to give a bit of credit, there's a fly on my mic driving me. I would put this higher just for the peaks it hits, like that jazzy portion and the vocal performances. But at the end of the day, I think the verses are a tiny bit repetitive. And a lot of the songs above this one don't have that issue. So I have it at 8 for now.
Johnny, 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 I just wanna be your girl. I do.
At 7, we have Johnny, Johnny, Johnny. And this is a very controversial song for a couple reasons. Some people think it's one of Underscore's best written songs. Others might think it's her worst written song. You know, it does touch on some very touchy subjects. I think Underscores did a pretty good job. There was clear disdain for a lot of the content matter. And so as a result, I think Underscores did a good job handling that. Outside of the lyrical content, which I think was, you know, it was handled with care and done very well. I think this is one of the more upbeat and catchy songs on the whole thing. In fact, I think this song, if it wasn't such an iffy subject, would work excellently on the aux. You know, it's loud, it's big, it's catchy, it's very easy to learn the lyrics very quickly. So if it were a bit more palatable for the masses, I think it would be a wonderful aux song. At number 6, we have My Guy, which was the lead single for the deluxe. And I think in terms of this album, this is one of the most fun to sing along to. It's just a blast to listen and sing along to this one. Lyrical content is a lot less deep and more just kind of tongue-in-cheek, no pun intended. But I think you kind of need some fun songs on this thing, or else it'll drag a lot. So this song being, you know, kind of that lead single to lead you into the deluxe tracks, it's really fun. Not to mention, okay, the bridge part is just superb. It's just amazing. So if you have yet to listen to this song, if you've only listened to the original Wallsocket release, give this one a go. It's very fun. Number 5, we have Locals featuring Gabby Start. And not only do I think this is one of the catchiest songs on Wallsocket, but even outside of Wallsocket, this is one of the catchiest in the entire Underscores catalog of music. I think the tempo and energy this thing has is unmatched on the rest of the record. This is by far the one with the most energy. I think that Gabby Start, okay, love having a Gabby Start feature. Lone Sharks is one of my favorite Underscores songs. So seeing Gabby Start, always great. The song structure touches a lot of different areas. All of them are nailed, especially that Gabby Start refrain at the end of the song. It's just amazing. I love every twist and turn on this song, and I think it's top 5 track on the whole thing. At 4, we have Cops and Robbers. At first, when this one came out, I was a little concerned. I was like, you know, where is this album kind of going to go? Because this was the lead single. But looking back, it was a wonderful choice. A lot of those kind of blues and jazz elements that show up on the rest of the record are really nailed here, especially that entire blues kind of solo part. It's wonderful. How the blues and jazz elements were fused with April's already existing production style, I think was nailed wonderfully and is just a ton of fun to listen to. It's very, very catchy as well, to give it credit there. You know, pop songs should be catchy, and this one's extremely catchy. Not to mention, okay, final note, lyrical content. It's one of the most unique premises for a song I've ever heard. You know, kind of finding ways to rob a bank from the inside. You wouldn't really think of that originally. You think of a bank robber, and you think of someone kind of showing up and threatening people, as opposed to, you know, what if someone did it from the inside and knew all your information? It's a great premise. It's so unique. It's so awesome. I love Cops and Robbers. At number 3, we have Stupid, which is my favorite of the new bonus tracks on the director's cut. And I think production-wise, it reminds me a lot of Girls and Boys by Underscores, which is not only my favorite Underscore song, but it's one of my favorite songs of all time. I remember being on Twitter and I see this Underscore snippet and I'm like, oh, I'm going to love this. When this song comes out, I'm not going to stop playing it. And guess what? I haven't stopped playing it. I'm pretty sure it's still like my number 1 on my Last FM if you were to check. Maybe when this video comes out, it'll be off, but it's so addicting. It really is just so fun. The production is so upbeat and crazy, just like Girls and Boys. I think the lyrical content, obviously a bit more lighthearted than some of the other songs. Again, it's one of those more tongue-in-cheek picks, but at the same time, you know, it's a deluxe song. You kind of just want some fun bangers on your deluxe tracks. So I have no complaints with Stupid. I think it's incredible. At number 2, we have Uncanny Long Arms featuring Jane Remover. And this song is just utterly gut-wrenching. The hook, okay, sung by both April and Jane, is pure euphoria. And both the vocal performances from April and Jane are amazing. I think I slightly prefer Jane's, but both did a phenomenal job. I think the way the lyrics depicted kind of gender dysphoria it's terrifying and it's unsettling, and it's, you know, a really unique approach to the topic. And, you know, again, this is another one that kind of reminded me of that first Glass Beach album, songs like Yoshi's Island and Bedroom Community, where I think they're really capable of causing change in people's perspective, which, if a song changes your perspective, you know it's really well written. And okay, I mean, it's obvious. The clip is in the, you know, my reaction video, but the impact of having that Kinko's Field Trip, which is also called In-Laws, that kind of snippet at the end of the song is just like, it's one of the most hype moments in the entire discography of Underscores. So Uncanny Long Arms, I'd argue it's probably a top 100 best written song of all time. I think I'm comfortable saying that. I just think it's amazing. And then at number 1, maybe controversially over Uncanny Long Arms, we have Old Money. And as many of you probably saw in my, you know, my list video, I had this song as the best song of 2023. I love every single part of this song. It really is. It's got this kind of nostalgic feeling. It's also just insanely catchy. It's addicting. I like the storytelling a lot, kind of focusing on this more rich girl and how, like, her different issues, the image of each of the characters, you know, kind of focused on. It's very like, you can picture these characters in their lives. Just play this song in the car, okay? I think pretty much anyone, if you play this song in the car, they'll be like, oh yeah, this is a good song. It's one of my favorite Underscore songs ever. It's probably in the top 3 conversation, top 5, somewhere around there. It's just amazing. It's amazing. And so just because it's the most fun to listen to, it's one of the best written, and it fits really well in the album context, I threw this one at the number 1 slot. So that's my list of ranking the worst to best songs on Wallsocket, the director's cut version. If you want to drop your rankings in the comment section below. I read all of them. I'd love to see them. And again, if you want to recommend me any albums, as long as they're ones I've already listened to, then yeah, feel free to drop those below. And I'm gonna try to be pumping these types of videos out very consistently. So make sure to check next week. We'll have a new album. I want to keep it a surprise. So, stay hyped for that. But yeah, if you want to watch more underscores content, there's underscores videos on my left and right. You can click on either one of those. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.